everybody. This is Hustle Hub. I'm Giacomo, and today I'm with a special guest, Ritvik from Financial Programming with Ritvik. So please introduce yourself. Let's tell us what you do.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your YouTube channel. I'm very excited for the conversation today. And yes, I do have a YouTube channel for financial programming, and my aim is to implement finance as much as possible through technology.
Okay. So let's tell us a bit about your background and how you got to this position.
Okay, so I'm a mechanical engineer, and I'm from India. And then I worked for investment banking for close to 4 years. And then I came to Europe, Madrid, to do masters here in masters in advanced finance from IE Business School. And then here my major was in fintech. Although I had some experience of programming before, but I was not that great at that time. So here my main focus was to learn fintech as much as possible. So I learned Python, and then I started implementing all the concepts that I learned in through my experience, work experience, and through CFA and masters, I would say, education here in technology. And I started this YouTube channel to make a community of all like-minded people. And right now I crossed 3,500 subscribers. I'm very happy for that.
Yeah, congratulations for that. And so let's tell us a bit more. How is that possible to go to have that transition from engineering to investment banking and then coding? How that links together, let's say.
Okay, so I pursued engineering because I was very much interested in mathematics at that time. And so I had two options to study applied mathematics and to study mechanical engineering because I was very much interested in physics as well. So at that time, my main focus was to implement as much as possible, like all these mathematics rules and all the physics rules as much as possible in the real world. And then through physics, actually, I learned a lot of concepts which can be implemented in finance. Like not a lot of people will speak about this thing, but we can see there are many things like inertia, momentum, etc., that can be implemented in finance, which were taught in physics. So while I was pursuing engineering, I started a small business over there. That business was related to food, although, but I started studying about investing and all these things. So that was the point when I shifted, I would say, my path toward business, or I would say finance. And then I studied, I would say, CFA, NCFM. There is a certification called NSE certification in financial markets in India,
Okay.
which is organized by NSE, National Stock Exchange of India. So I did all these things, and then I transitioned toward finance. And when I came here, I see that there's a huge potential of technology in finance because the entire industry is now shifting towards technology. So I just found this opportunity to implement my, I would say, past experience, past knowledge into finance.
Okay. So I'm curious because most people in investment banking, of course, come from an economics and finance background. So, what were the pros and the cons of having an engineering background in the investment banking sector? Did you have an edge on something, on some technical skills that maybe somebody else didn't have, or there were downsides, or there were mostly downsides?
So before I entered investment banking domain, actually I cleared CFA level one. Actually, I worked for financial modeling role in particular investment bank, and then after that I switched to debt capital markets. At that time, I had cleared CFA level two as well. So, I had some, I would say, certification or sort of education in finance, but I absolutely agree that there is, I would say, a drawback if you have an engineering background and if you want to enter into the field of finance. When you enter the field of finance, after some time, it becomes an advantage if you have an engineering background. So yeah, it was a difficult, I would say, time for me at that time because an engineer doesn't have that much skills in finance, and there is a lot of competition. You would know that there is a lot of
Yeah.
competition in finance industry. So that was the thing. But then because of the engineering background, we are very, I would say, keen to learn to new technology and all these things. So I became very good in Excel, MS Excel, and
Okay.
PowerPoint skills, and that was the key actually that helped me to grow in investment banking because I was really good in financial modeling, and the entire team was not able to do that quickly that I was doing. So that was the time when I thought that my engineering skills, or I would say my technical skills, are helping me in investment banking role. But to start it, it was a bit difficult.
Okay. So, what are the both technical and soft skills that you had to learn on the job in investment banking?
Programming is not required
Okay.
for an entry role because I worked as an analyst at that time. So no programming skills. I'm not sure about the new requirements, but in 2017-18, there was no programming skills that were required. What you need, like what you were required to know was the basic skills of finance. I would say more of presentation skills, how you make different documents like Excel financial modeling or Word document, or more, I would say, towards the pitch book, which were in the PPT. So these skills were important. The research skill, investment research skills. How can you go through different data vendors like Bloomberg, FactSet, Thomson Reuters, Deal Logic, Loan Connector. There are many.
Okay.
So are you good in that or not? So how's your research skills, and then how do you implement everything in just one document? That's
Yeah.
all about investment banking that I actually said to you right now.
Okay. Okay. So, talking about investment banking, lately a lot of people talked about the report from financial analysts from Goldman Sachs saying that they work 110 hours a week. Was that the case in India? Was that the same, or it's sort of different?
It was very similar. I have never counted the number of hours I worked because I didn't have time to count. But yeah, it was similar. It was similar situation. And even right now, I'm working for a wealth tech company, and because I'm very much passionate for working in fintech, I work a lot with them. I work a lot on my YouTube channel. So but at investment banking, there is a lot of monotonous work. There's a lot of work that can be automated, but they don't automate it for some reasons. I don't know like what's the new trends, but that boring work and monotonous work is something that is keeping like investment banking away from my mind right now.
Okay, okay. So you had the opportunity to try different uh, data databases and so on. You had Bloomberg, right?
Yeah,
Did,
I
did
worked
you
on
also
a
have
lot of.
Thomson Reuters and FactSet and CapIQ?
Yeah, I worked on like I didn't work on Capital IQ a lot, but I have gone through it. But yeah, Bloomberg was a part of life. Thomson Reuters, yes, FactSet is still installed on my laptop, and we had Loan Connector, Deal Logic, Privco, Orbis. What else? Data Stream.
Okay.
I am forgetting a lot. There are many.
Okay, okay, okay. So, um, one thing that it's not clear to a lot of students is whether if you know very well just one database, if you need to know all the other databases, or they do different things in a different way.
Okay, so if someone is preparing for an interview, it's my humble advice. You should contact someone working over there, and then like try to talk about the type of the database, the data vendor they are using, because
Okay.
Bloomberg is extremely expensive. Not a lot of companies can afford it. So, like any day, no one can beat Bloomberg. So you should have a very good, I would say, expertise in Bloomberg, how to use Bloomberg terminal, how to extract all the information in Excel directly through the using formulas like BDH, BDP, etc. And now there's a new thing like how to synchronize Bloomberg in Python, such that you don't need to go to Excel as well. So, no doubt, Bloomberg is on the top, but many companies cannot afford it. So you should know so at least some basics about other data vendors as well, like Thomson Reuters or Capital IQ. FactSet is an important data vendor as well. So
Okay.
my advice would be to talk to someone working there, spend some time to do some research, what type of data vendor they are using, and then prepare for the interview.
Okay, okay. So if you had all of them, uh, which kind of research would you do on Bloomberg? Which one would you do on Thomson Reuters and FactSet and so on? Is there something where other databases excel compared to Bloomberg?
It's an interesting question. So Bloomberg is really good in fixed income, no doubt. The data, fixed income data, is like amazing on Bloomberg. For FactSet, mutual fund or fund related data, I would say is good. But like I would say Bloomberg is also very good. But FactSet is known for the fund related data. Other, I would say competitors would be Morningstar is good in fund related data, and then we have market that is good for loans
Okay.
and the leverage loans, HY, I would say bond data. Again, like that would be available on Bloomberg, but I guess loans, leverage loan data was better in market as per I remember. If you talk about other things like Loan Connector is just made for different types of loan issuances. If you talk about private company information, it's Privco. Privco is made for that. If you talk about news, like very good news. So Bloomberg CN, which is company news command, is very good,
Okay.
but still there are other sources like Factiva that is good
Okay.
for news. So yeah, there are some pros and cons of all the databases, but if you connect everything and if you score these databases, then Bloomberg will be number one.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So um, an analyst, what is the edge that an analyst has if he knows Python compared to an analyst that doesn't know how to use Python?
Okay. It depends on the type of role, honestly,
Okay.
because analyst is a very broad terminology. So we'll have to figure out
For
what type
example,
of
in
job
asset management or in investment banking, what is the edge that you can have by knowing how to use Python very well?
in investment banking. If you talk about mergers and acquisition or debt, like capital markets, both of them, I would say it's not a mandatory thing. But it's very, like I would say, it's changing very quickly, and maybe like in a couple of years, it will be a part of it. But in asset management right now, many people are looking for experts in some, I would say, coding language, and Python is the best. So in asset management, yes, it's changing really quickly because of the popularity of quant funds and the quantitative strategies and all these things. In trading space, it's all about programming right now. So if you don't know programming, you should not focus trading
Okay.
because there was a time when trading, like traders used to talk to the brokers and all these things, but right now everything is automated. You should know a programming language if you want to be a trader. In global markets, um, it is important, but it's not again a very, I would say, significant part of the requirement. In wealth management, not at all required. In private banking, corporate banking, again, it's not that much required. So yeah, that's
Okay.
that
Okay.
that,
Okay.
that
But
was.
if you want to get into trading, if you have a general economics or finance background, what do you think are the best sources to learn how to code right now?
That's the main issue. That's why I started this YouTube channel because you won't find a lot of, I would say, free places where you can learn financial programming. There will be a lot of people who will be teaching you how to code, but we are not here to learn code. We are here to learn how to implement finance in programming. That's the main motive.
Okay.
So, like, unfortunately, there are not a lot of places who are providing free services. You'll find many, I would say, lectures on Code Academy or I don't know, like these places. But not a lot of places, not a lot of people are actually teaching all this stuff for free. That's the
Okay.
hard reality.
Okay. Okay. So if you want to specialize in your field, like programming and so on, are there any certifications that are well recognized, like the CFA in asset management or the FRM?
I don't know actually. Uh,
Okay.
and in my opinion, it's an interesting question. In my opinion, I don't value certifications a lot, honestly. So even if you talk about CFA, although I cleared all three levels of CFA, it's a good I would say, addition to your CV when you start your career. After some time, it doesn't value, honestly. So after some time, the thing that values is what work have you done, like in last 2 3 years or something like that. So even if there is any certification, I don't know actually if there is any, then that would help in just a couple of years to entry
Okay.
in the industry.
Okay. Okay. And um, do people with certifications like the CFA and the FRM fit in the fintech world or the wealth tech world? Are they necessary or no?
In my opinion, fintech or wealth tech is a part of fintech. So let's talk about fintech. So in my opinion, any jobs that are available in fintech would require, I would say, more work experience than any certification or degree. Because it's a very new industry. Right now, if you talk about fintech, it's all about payments, retail
Yeah.
payments, and all this thing. No one is talking about asset management or wealth tech. Or there are many, I would say, uh, potential in this industry to replicate fintech in that particular domain. So, in my opinion, I have talked to many people in fintech domain, and they don't consider certifications or degree as like the most important thing. They think that what you have done, what is your skill set. If I give you, for example, if I give you a task that I want a model on, say, making, I want a alpha making strategy making model. Like everyone knows that there's not a guarantee of making an alpha, but there has to be a good justification in that. If you can convert everything into Python and can deliver it to the client, then yeah, you are into the industry, no matter you have done BCom or engineering or whatever you've done. So
Okay.
that's my opinion.
Okay. So another question that I have is, what is the selection process? What your from your background, what what was it like, the selection process, the hiring process, both in investment banking and in fintech? How do they differ? And are there um, like something like consulting where you have the business case that you have to solve?
Okay, in investment banking, actually, it was, I would say, a couple of interviews, and I didn't solve any case studies as per I remember because that was 2015. But it was fairly easy. The only drawback is that there is a huge competition in
Yeah.
investment banking roles. So that thing is something really, I would say, difficult, and that's why we have to enter it, with a very small role. As far as fintech is concerned, when I joined this company, I didn't even like give the interview. So because of my YouTube and because of all the content that I share with people, I was directly hired into the company. Yeah.
Okay. 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 So um are fintech and wealth tech companies starting to apply ESG metrics to their investment strategies?
It depends on the company, in my opinion. There are few companies like Betterment or Wealthfront. They are considering really, I would say, seriously on the ESG. And but in my opinion, there's no. I would say because it's a big buzzword right now to invest in ESG and all. But right now in fintech, again because it's a very small industry, it's like evolving like very quickly. It's changing very quickly. So right now it's very difficult to say that it's going into one direction. But yeah,
Okay,
definitely with time there will be a very important, I would say, steps into the field of ESG.
okay, okay. So, um, you went to, let's get back to your university times and so on. Um, what are the advantages of joining certain clubs, certain university clubs? And do they give you do that help you to get hired later on?
Okay. So I was a part of a club called IE Hedge and Mutual Fund Club. I was a vice president here. We organized a lot of events here, and through that club, I made many contacts in the hedge fund industry. So yeah, it helps a lot to learn, to grow your network. But I don't think that if you are a part of a club, you'll get a job.
Okay.
Yeah, so in my opinion, it helps in learning, it helps in growing contact, it helps in like making your brand value in a particular field that people start knowing that, yeah, Ritvik Dashura is a part of this industry, so he would have this knowledge in this thing. So that you can use as a USP in
Yeah.
the interviews. But in my college, at least, so there was no guarantee that because being a part of this club, I'll get a job here.
Okay. So, um, what was your motivation for moving from India to Spain, and what are the pros and cons that you have seen thus far, both in India and Spain, from a living and a business perspective?
From living perspective, India is a developing country, so yeah, there are a lot of compromises that we have to do. But because it's my country, I know how to live. But if someone wants to, if someone is from Europe, for example, you and you want to live there, you'll face some difficulties, honestly. But it's changing really quickly, and there is a lot of opportunities right now in India. Like if I talk about job opportunities or business opportunities, etc. And there's a lot of FDI coming into India. As far as Europe is concerned, I came here to pursue masters from a different country. I wanted to have some international exposure, and I found this course, which is Masters in Advanced Finance course. I would say to be one of the only 3-4 courses that was specifically made for experienced people, and it was like focused towards finance because mostly at this profile people prefer MBAs, and I was not very much towards MBA. So I was just looking for a master in finance, and this much experience that was the only course. There is one more in Rotterdam, and there are a couple of more. But yeah, that was the main motive to come to Spain because it's one of the best universities. The economic environment of Spain is again, it's developed country. It's south of Europe. You know, Italy and Spain are very similar. So it's very stagnant. I know many people who are doing business here. Um, the economies, I would say both the economies, Italy and Spain, both these economies are very much into the tourism. Their
Yeah.
finance sector is not that developed for some reason. It's developing, but the pace is really, really very slow.
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to live a very good life,
Yeah.
like speaking from the perspective of an Indian, then you can come to Europe. But I don't think there would be a lot of growth opportunities in the south of Europe at least.
Okay. 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 So, how for you got the opportunity to work in investment banking in India, right?
Mhm.
So, what are how the salaries differ from India to Spain for the same kind of roles in both in investment banking and tech, from your
If
personal perspective and from what you know from you hear from people that you know.
so, if you are an analyst in India,
Yeah.
and if you are an analyst here in Europe, say Spain, the difference is huge. Like we cannot compare, a huge difference. But if you are the I would say the vice president or senior manager in India and senior manager in Europe, say Spain, that won't be a huge difference. So that's the thing that I have realized because I know many people in India who are at senior management roles who are earning a lot of money, and if you convert Indian rupees to euros, that is the actually the biggest hurdle for Indian economy because of the very quickly depreciating Indian rupee right now because of the COVID situation and all. But if you even if you compare Indian rupee to Europe, and if you are sitting at a senior management role, then it won't be a huge difference. Still, euros will like having a job in Europe will be a bit more than India. But comparing the cost of living, if we talk about the savings, then I would say there is hardly any difference in both the countries.
Okay, okay. So you said let's say the cons of being in India, but you also said that there's a lot of opportunity. So if you want to start a business in India, is venture capital um, ready and available, or is it difficult from what you know to raise capital?
Yeah, to start a business, India is, I would say, the best place right now, even better
Okay.
than China. Because again, like you will very easily find investors in India. Although the competition is huge, but if you have good contacts, it is, I would say, very easy. Because I know a friend here who tried starting a business here and could not find any investor. When he went back to India in just 1 month, there was a huge funding in his business.
Okay.
So for business perspective, like there's no comparison. Right now, India is growing really fast, really quickly. Like there is an expectation of around 10% GDP growth next year. So you can see there's a lot of in business opportunities in India right now.
Okay. So, what I wanted to ask you is, I heard from people in consulting that there's a sort of culture that is called up or out. You either go up the ladder or you're asked to leave. Is that something that um, happens also in other sectors, both in investment banking, in asset management, and in fintech?
Yep, yep. And I would say it's in all industries.
Okay.
So if someone is not performing, then yeah, he will be fired. And
Okay.
if you are in a capitalist economy like USA or India, then there is a very high possibility of this thing.
Yeah.
So that's I would say it affects the work-life balance,
Yeah.
but that's the hard reality. You have to work a lot to improve your positions, otherwise you'll be fired.
Okay. Speaking about work-life balance, could you please explain, let's say your day in a life as an investment banker and as a worker in a fintech company, how they differ and how the working is, let's say, organized.
Okay, so actually I work for a big company in investment banking role. So almost everything was defined. Like we were given the tasks that you have to do all these things in the same way. Right now, I'm working for a startup. So every day we make decisions. And if you talk about the work-life balance, and in that role, it was again there was not a lot of mental pressure at that time, but a
Okay.
lot of physical pressure in investment banking role. Here in fintech company, we have more mental pressure because we have to take decisions, and on the basis of our decision, there are a lot of things that is dependent. Many people have, I would say, dependency on the things that we are saying in the call. So the lot of responsibilities and all these things, but in physical, I would say stress, uh, it is better than investment banking. So we don't have to
Yeah.
work continuously. We can go anywhere and work. We can go, sit on the beach and work. In investment banking, it's not possible. It's very formal. It's very rule based. You have to follow all the protocols to do this thing. In fintech companies, you can do whatever you can then work. There are many people who go to Malaga and just sitting on the beach and then working.
Okay. Okay. Sounds a lot better. Do you think it's going to change after COVID, or it's going to stay that way?
What thing?
Um, the the possibility to work from wherever you want.
I think it will. Uh, Work from home has become a part of all the industries, but actually there are two opinions. There are few people who say that the work life will be like this only, will be always working from home. No, I don't agree with it. There will be some, I would say, um, there are many companies who prefer people to come to the office, but work from home has become an important part of life. So if you talk about my opinion, there will be around 60% of the past life, and then 40% of the work from home life will be the new life now.
Okay, okay. So you said some companies um, push people to come to the office. One of them was Morgan Stanley CEO that
UBS.
said very clearly that he wants people back in the office. Why do you think is he pressuring that much for people to come back in the office? Why is that more important for investment bankers?
Yeah, there's another company called UBS that is
Yeah,
also very strict, and I appreciate it. Actually, they try to maintain the discipline, and there are different ways for like them to implement discipline among the employees. Like either it's forceful or it's intuitive that they do it. But yeah, they are picking up the forceful path. Again, the main task, main aim is to make everyone disciplined and I would say working together and all these things such that they have a very good working environment in the office, because there are many tasks that cannot be done through home. For example, if you want to do some work for which you need to have multiple meetings. In that case, I would say the efficiency of being in office is more than efficiency of being at home.
yeah,
That's why I would say I don't know his mindset, but yeah, that
yeah.
would be that can I that is something that I can think of that he's thinking right now to
Okay.
force people to the office.
Do you think is that something because I think investment banking is on the sales side, so building relations and knowing people face to face, it's probably something very important for them compared to, let's say, trading where you had to do your own stuff on your terminal and that's it.
Investment banking has two domains, sell side and buy side. In buy side, there's not a lot of interaction because I worked in the buy side only, and we had to just call the clients at that time also before COVID to have the interaction. So there was no face-to-face interaction required with the clients. But yeah, with the teams, I would say, or the manager, we had to meet every day to see what we are doing. Um, in sell side or any rules related to any uh, relationship building between the clients or stakeholders, in that case, yeah, definitely work from home is not possible. But in buy side investment banking, right now everyone is doing work from home only. But yeah, eventually, again, as I'll repeat, there will be 60%, 40% thing. 60% of the time they'll be going to the office and 40% they'll be working from home.
Okay, okay, okay. So let's talk a bit more about what you're doing right now. So what is your role in the company? What is your company trying to achieve?
Okay, so it's a wealth tech company, and
Yeah.
they are trying to build I would say multiple investment solutions for different types of clients, depending on their risk profiles, depending on their personality and everything. And we are working on multiple models so that we can again like I will not speak about the strategies. So yeah, such that like we can beat the market, and like we can have a model to beat the market. It's not a guarantee, of course, but yeah, that's the main motive. And these people, the co-founders, are wealth managers. They have an experience of around like 15, 20 years of experience in wealth management industry. So they are very much, I would say, familiar with the business, wealth management business. And now they have the plan to implement technology.
Okay.
So we are just working on multiple things so that everything in the wealth management domain can be implemented. Actually, wealth management is a terminology. In India, private banking is called wealth management.
Okay.
That's something like, there are many places where asset management and wealth management is used interchangeably. So because we are from Europe right now, so private banking is wealth management in India. So they are
Okay.
trying to implement technology in private banking.
Okay. Okay. So, given the growth of this technology around wealth and so on, and managing capitals, who do you think are getting disrupted by this technology advancement?
Sorry, I couldn't understand the question.
Yeah.
Can you please repeat?
Um, who do you think are getting disrupted by all this technology um, strengthening in the wealth management industry?
Disrupted by saying disrupted, you mean?
Yeah, who are going to lose as this industry grows, continues to
Alright.
grow?
So actually, uh, speaking about the wealth management industry in India, it is mostly about like serving to the HNI clients or ultra HNI clients, and the retail investors, they don't have a lot of information. So even the affluent sector of wealth management, I would say clients, they don't have that much knowledge of investment. So the main motive of these wealth tech companies, including the company that I'm working for, they are just trying to like have the similar, I would say, environment that an HNI or an ultra HNI is having to the retail investor or to the people who are working from 9 to 5 job. So such that all the information is readily available for everyone, and they know what they are doing. They are just not going to the to any particular website and buying mutual fund. They should know everything related to what they are doing right now. So
Okay,
that would be the same. So who is losing? In my opinion, if this has implemented in the industry, I don't know like who will lose, but for sure the retail investors and the people who don't have that much experience in investing, they will gain for sure.
okay. So, how is the Indian market, stock market positioned right now? Uh, are multiples higher, lower compared to, let's say, the US or Europe? Do you see a possible better opportunities in India right now compared to more um, Western countries?
In short term, no, but in long term, yes. Short term, no, because there will be another wave of COVID in India, and maybe like for next 1 year, it
Okay.
is going to affect the stock market for sure. But speaking about the ratios, everything is highly overvalued. If like whatever, if it's whether it's India or US or Europe, everything is highly overvalued because of the stimulus packages that
Yeah.
were launched. So investment opportunities, in my opinion, right now the best investment strategy would be to stick to value stocks. And
Okay.
like again, it's my opinion. It's not an investment advice, but I think the growth stocks are already highly valued everywhere.
Okay.
Thankfully, in India, the biggest sector, biggest chunk of the entire market cap is financials.
Okay.
So in India, the market won't be that much volatile as it will be in US. Again, it's my opinion. But everything is overvalued, everything. So we should work on risk management uh, today to preserve our capital. Our main aim to for next 2 years should be to preserve our capital, then to grow
Okay.
our money. This is my opinion, like not an
O-
investment advice.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're more into, let's say, um, trying to look for lower P ratios and perhaps dividends compared to just tech companies and growth, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah, I'll pick the value stocks if you're like because we are going very much deep into the fundamental analysis. So yeah, I'll pick value stock on the basis of P ratios, dividend yield, PB ratio, etc. And the reason that I'm not picking the growth stocks is that uh, the valuation, if you talk about USA for example, the valuation is highly biased towards the treasury yield, 10-year treasury yield. If you know that right now, I think it's trading at around 1.5%
Yeah.
if I'm not wrong. And because of the high volatility of yield in trading
Uh,
yield, the valuation models for all these growth stocks is like changing the intrinsic value of these growth stocks significantly. So, few months back, the yield was around 1%, like I would say less than 1%. And that was making the all the growth stocks very highly overvalued
mm,
because of the very low discount rate, and right now it is increasing. So these values, the intrinsic value is going down, creating a bubble. Again, a lot of volatility in this sector. That's why I would like to focus on companies that have assets in their hands right now, rather than just the growth prospective things, cash flows from.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
main opinion.
Okay, very clear. So, since you have worked in asset manage, you your company works in managing investments and so on. Do you see companies, or maybe from people that you know, do you see companies investing in alternative data sources in order to create alpha?
You mean the alternative investments, right?
Uh, no, I mean, a lot of I saw that, for example, hedge funds are investing or buying alternative data sets. They can be um, satellite data and traffic data, just to have more information on uh, the supply chain and customer behavior and so on. Do you see that firsthand? The the increase in investing in alternative data in order to have an advantage on competitors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Because uh, if we cannot make alpha by just going through the numbers or
yeah,
the publicly available information, then we have to dig into the business. And going to this data actually reflects the business. There was a case
yeah,
study on the parking lot, the number of cars that is there,
yeah.
like everyone knows about it. Although it's a very small analysis, but it gives a very good message that rather than focusing on just numbers and then trends and even fundamental analysis, I am very much into both fundamental and technical analysis. This is a third segment of all the analysis that we are now digging into the business. We don't know the management, we don't know the actual supply chain. We're just like looking to all these things, and I really appreciate it, the people who are doing it, and I see a huge scope of this thing in future.
Okay, okay. And do you see universities and colleges catching up, providing students with more new data sets, or they're just sticking to their Bloombergs and Thomson Reuters and that's it?
Okay, in my university there was just Bloomberg,
Okay, okay, okay.
because if
Um,
you go to any big company, everyone uses Bloomberg. But if you go to smaller company, they cannot afford it. So again, like I'll repeat this point that we should have a basic idea about all these things as well. But
yeah.
Bloomberg is the king for sure.
Okay, okay. So maybe perhaps explain to us what we can find on your channel and what services you provide to all your subscribers and your Patreon subscribers.
Yeah. So my channel is all about financial programming. So I've worked extensively in the fundamental analysis and both fundamental and technical analysis. And since many, I would say, weeks, I am very much into the trading bot strategy so that we can try to make some return in the cryptocurrency market as well. Although I consider this to be a very, very volatile market, everyone knows it. But there can be some opportunities if we make a bot. So this is something that have like grabbed my attention since last few weeks, and I upload videos related to risk management models related to trading bots, doing back testing. Recently, I've posted a playlist on back testing, things like how to use some highly valuable finance APIs like Alpha Vantage, 12 Data, IX Cloud, how to exploit these free services as much as possible, so that we don't need to pay to these APIs. And then yeah, I worked on WebSocket such that like we get all the real-time data from Binance and all these things. So my main focus is to learn, or I consider myself to be a learner as well. So my main focus is to learn with my viewers by without paying any money to anyone. So it's free
Yeah,
to watch a video, it's free to use any particular database, and it's free to make something and learn. That's the main motive of this YouTube channel.
great. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what is your point of view on cryptocurrencies? I saw that a few weeks ago after um, the hacking of one of the major pipelines in the US. Uh, they paid the hackers with Bitcoin, but the Department of Justice was able to um, get the Bitcoin back. So it's kind of weird that Bitcoin can be seized. Uh, it it wasn't like that. So do you think Bitcoin is losing one of its main pros due to this?
Uh, um, Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency is based on the technology. The value of Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency is just because of the blockchain technology they are using. If that thing is being hacked, or if someone is able to like enter into that thing, then there's no value
Yeah,
of this digital currency. But I don't know. Actually, I have honestly speaking, I don't have a lot of information about the US thing that happened. But in my opinion, hacking a blockchain is a really, really difficult task, and I would say it's close to impossible task. And if something is based on blockchain, I'm not talking about the cryptocurrency. Even if you have some accounting things or healthcare service that is based on blockchain, and it's really difficult to hack it. And I see a lot of potential of cryptocurrencies, but not Bitcoin. There will be more cryptocurrencies in the market, but Bitcoin won't be one of them. This is my opinion because of its ESG impacts. If you know, like the environmental impacts that it is doing, there
yeah,
are many currencies that can be mined with the lesser energy. So this is something that is hurting the Bitcoin's value, and we can see that from
yeah,
60,000 it is now close to 30,000. And if it gets below 30,000, then in my opinion it will crash
yeah.
towards 15,000 or 20,000 level. So it's really difficult to give one opinion about the type of cryptocurrency that will come, and the value of the cryptocurrency, with any particular cryptocurrency with time. But there definitely there will be some digital currencies in future, and even governments are now entering into this domain. If you have heard of the CBDC, the central banking digital currency, China is working on it. Singapore is working on it. There are many countries that are working
Yeah.
very proactively on CBDC, the central
Yeah.
banking digital currency. So yeah, definitely this is going to be future. If I like, if we go to future like 10 years or 20 years down the line, then definitely we'll find these things as a part of our lives.
Okay, okay. So, um, what? So, can you give us a better understanding of what is the scale of the company you're working for, and um, how how do you think it can disrupt the market? What are the features that you think might disrupt the market?
Okay, so the company that I'm working for is mainly focused to make the entire procedure of private banking as smooth as possible. Because right
Okay.
now, if we want to, if for example, if you are an investor, if you want to like invest in particular things, and in that case, like you have two options: buy directly and have no information
Mhm.
about it, or going to a relationship manager and then that guy is managing everything. So, in order to replace it with technology, uh, there comes the wealth tech, and such that they have their pseudo relationship manager with them all the time. So again, like, it will change this industry for sure, but in my opinion, it will take some time, maybe a couple of years, to make a significant impact in this industry.
Okay, okay, great. So the last question I want to ask you is if you want to work in trading and you already know how to use Python, uh, which other coding language could you learn in order to stand out?
Right now, Python is the most important language,
Okay,
but if you want to stand out, then maybe C.
okay,
C plus is the I would say are the languages, because Python, the only drawback of Python is that it's slower than other programming languages like C and C++ because of the very user friendly interface and You can see that like you can import a lot of libraries. We don't need to code a lot of things because of
Yeah.
the available libraries. So if you want to reduce this time, the execution time, then people go to programming languages like C, C++. But in my opinion, if you have a very good grip on Python, then you will stand out with the crowd, because there are not a lot of people who are very good in Python also. So
Okay.
if someone is looking forward a job in trading sector, then my opinion would be to just make Python as, I would say, like increase your expertise in Python as much as possible. And don't focus on any other programming language.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So this is it for the interview. If you want to say something or anything else, I really want to thank you for being with us, Ritvik. And so this is it for today. I'm
Thank
Giacomo.
you so much.
This
I'm also very happy actually. I love to talk to people like me, and because I know that YouTube journey is a challenging journey, and I also conduct some interviews with some fintech leaders, so I can understand that you are making a big impact on the industry, and I just hope that your channel grows significantly, like I would say exponentially in future.
okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I'm
My pleasure.
Giacomo. This is Hustle Hub.